James Neville Mason was a British actor. After achieving much success in the United Kingdom, he made the transition to the United States and became one of the biggest stars in Hollywood, starring in iconic films such as The Desert Fox, A Star is Born, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Lolita, North by Northwest, Journey to the Center of the Earth, Bigger Than Life, Julius Caesar, Georgy Girl, The Deadly Affair, The Boys from Brazil, The Verdict, Murder by Decree, and Salem's Lot. He was nominated for 3 Academy Awards and 3 Golden Globes. Biography: Early life: Mason was born in Huddersfield, in the West Riding of Yorkshire, to John and Mabel Mason. His father was a wealthy merchant. He was educated at Marlborough College, and earned a first in architecture at Peterhouse, Cambridge, where he became involved in stock theatre companies in his spare time. Mason had no formal training as an actor and initially embarked upon it for fun. After Cambridge he made his stage debut in Aldershot in The Rascal in 1931. He joined the Old Vic Theatre in London under the guidance of Tyrone Guthrie. In 1933 Alexander Korda gave Mason a small role in The Private Life of Don Juan but sacked him 3 days into shooting. Career: From 1935 to 1938 he starred in many British quota quickies. He registered as a conscientious objector during World War II, but his tribunal exempted him only on the requirement to do non-combatant military service, which he refused. His appeal against this became irrelevant by including him in a general exemption for film work. Mason became hugely popular for his brooding anti-heroes in the Gainsborough series of melodramas of the 1940s, including The Man in Grey and The Wicked Lady. He also starred with Deborah Kerr and Robert Newton in Hatter's Castle. He then took the lead role in the popular The Seventh Veil, which set box office records in post-war Britain and raised him to international stardom. He followed it with a role as a mortally wounded Irish bank robber in Odd Man Out and his first Hollywood film, Caught. Exhibitors voted him the most popular star in Britain in each year between 1944 and 1947. They also thought he was the most popular international star in 1946. He dropped to second place the following year. He was the most popular male star in Canada in 1948. Mason's languid but impassioned vocal talent enabled him to play a menacing villain as easily as his good looks assisted him as a leading man. His roles include Brutus in Julius Caesar, Field Marshal Erwin Rommel in The Desert Fox, The Story of Rommel and the Desert Rats, the immoral valet-turned-spy in Joseph L. Mankiewicz's Five Fingers, the declining actor in the first remake of A Star is Born, Captain Nemo in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, a small-town schoolteacher driven insane by the effects of cortisone in Bigger Than Life, a suave master spy in North by Northwest, and a determined explorer in Journey to the Center of the Earth. In 1963 he settled in Switzerland, and embarked on a transatlantic career. He played Humbert Humbert in Stanley Kubrick's version of Lolita, a river pirate who betrays Peter O'Toole's character in Lord Jim, Bradley Morahan in Norman Lindsay's Age of Consent, the evil Dr. Polidori in Frankenstein, The True Story, The Vampire's Servant, Richard Straker, in Salem's Lot, and surreal Royal Navy Captain Hughes in Yellowbeard. One of his last roles, that of corrupt lawyer Ed Concannon in The Verdict, earned him his third and final Oscar nomination. Late in his life, Mason narrated 2 British documentary series supervised by Kevin Brownlow, Hollywood, on the silent cinema and Unknown Chaplin, devoted to outtake material from the films of Charlie Chaplin. Mason had been a long-time neighbor and friend of the comedian. Having completed playing the lead role in Dr. Fisher of Geneva, adapted from the Graham Greene's eponymous novella for the BBC, he stepped into the role originally meant for Paul Scofield in The Shooting Party, who was unable to continue due to several of the actors being seriously injured in an accident on the first day of shooting. This was to be his final screen performance. In the late 1970s, Mason became a mentor to up-and-coming actor Sam Neill. Personal life: Mason was a devoted lover of animals, particularly cats. He and his wife, Pamela Mason, co-authored the book The Cats in Our Lives, which was published in 1949. James Mason wrote most of the book and also illustrated it. In The Cats in Our Lives, he recounted humorous and sometimes touching tales of the cats he had known and loved. In 1952, Mason purchased a house previously owned by Buster Keaton. He discovered several nitrate film reels of previously thought lost films stored in the house produced by the comedian, such as The Boat. Mason immediately arranged to have the decomposing films transferred to safety stock and thus saved them from being lost permanently. Mason was married twice, from 1941 to 1964 to British actress Pamela Mason. One daughter, Portland Mason Schuyler, and one son, Morgan. Portland Mason was named for Portland Hoffer, the wife of the American radio comedian Fred Allen. The Allens and the Masons were friends. Australian actress Clarissa Kay. Toe Pooper's DVD commentary for Salem's Lot reveals that Mason regularly worked contractual clauses into his later work guaranteeing Kay bit parts in his film appearances. Mason's autobiography, Before I Forget, was published in 1981. Death: Mason survived a severe heart attack in 1959. He died as a result of another heart attack on July 27, 1984 in Lausanne, Switzerland, where he was cremated. The remains of Mason's old friend Charlie Chaplin are in a tomb a few steps away. Mason's widow, Clarissa Kay, also known as Kay Mason, died on July 21, 1994 from cancer. Filmography, references. External links: James Mason at the Internet Movie Database, James Mason at the TCM Movie Database, performances listed in Theatre Archive University of Bristol, James Mason at the Internet Broadway Database, literature on James Mason.